To live is to become, not to settle, not to stop, but to evolve. In a world obsessed with order and control, Nietzsche dared to say, embrace the chaos within you, because only through that chaos can you give birth to something new. To live is not to find your destiny. It is to shape it moment by moment through fire, doubt, and will. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for those who choose to become. To live is to become. This is not a metaphor. It is the essence of existence. The one who remains static, who clings to identity like a corpse clings to its name, is already decaying. Life, in its rawest, most honest form, is flux. It is the ever-churning river that does not allow the same foot twice, and yet men, fragile, trembling before uncertainty, seek permanence. They want to be something once and for all, a title, a belief, a role, a name etched in the stone of approval. But in this desire to be, they forget how to become. Man is not a being. He is a bridge. He is a rope stretched over the abyss. The fool tries to build a home on this rope. The wise one dances on it. And only the one who dances, who embraces a tremble of every step, is alive. The rest are statues, monuments to fear, erected in the name of safety. Look at how they live. I am this, I am that. As if identity were a fortress to hide behind. They chain themselves to definitions, to names handed down by family, nation, religion, and morality. Be a good man, they say. Be a loyal worker, they command. Be a believer. But who dares to break that frame? Who dares to become something that has never existed before? The child becomes a lion, and the lion becomes a creator. But first, there must be destruction. Destruction of the old self, the inherited self, the domesticated self. Only then can the becoming begin. Do you hear the howling in your soul? The call to tear off the masks, to burn the costume stitched by others? That is life begging to be reborn in you. But no, they fear it. They want peace. They want comfort. They want to sleep forever in the arms of familiarity. And so, they do not become. They remain. And in remaining, they rot. They confuse survival with living. They confuse obedience with virtue. They confuse imitation with existence. To become is to say no 1,000 times. No to expectations. No to the herd. No to the past that grips your neck like a ghost. It is to carve your own soul with bloodied hands. To become is to take chaos and from it, shape form. Not copy. Not borrow. Not follow. Create. And what is creation? It is danger. It is rebellion against being. It is the artist's scream against all that tries to define him. It is a rejection of stasis. The true man, the overman, is not a destination. He is a process. A volcanic surge that destroys yesterday's self to forge tomorrow's fire. So I ask you, who are you when no one is watching? When no label binds you? When no applause reassures you? Who remains? If the answer terrifies you, good. That fear is the doorway to becoming. Because to live is not to hold on. To live is to let go. To live is to become. Chaos, that sacred fire the weak flee from, and the strong are born in. They will tell you chaos is danger, something to be suppressed, managed, silenced like a mad dog. But what they call chaos, I call origin. For only from chaos can the star be born. The calm never created anything but death. The still waters never stirred the spirit. The straight road never led beyond the village. Do you want to remain in the village? Within you there is a storm, and you have been taught to shut your windows, bolt your doors, and pray it passes. But what if the storm is not your enemy? What if the chaos is your womb? One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. I wrote that not as a poet searching for beauty, but as a physician of the soul, diagnosing the modern illness. Order without origin, reason without fire, obedience without blood. They worship control. They wear masks of balance, of discipline, of reason. But inside they are hollow, echoing chambers where no star was ever born. Do you understand? Their lives are too clean, too measured, too afraid. And so they rot in symmetry. It is in chaos that life begins its work. The child screams into the world. The artist rips the canvas. The lover devours. The thinker shatters his own thoughts. Chaos is not the end. It is the forge, the divine madness, the fertile void, the abyss for which the new emerges. Those who fear it have already surrendered their right to become. They seek harmony. But harmony is not truth. Truth is dissonance. It is a clash, a howl, a tearing apart. And from this tearing comes a reel. When your soul convulses, when it shakes, breaks, and bleeds, it is then that you are closest to creation. That pain you feel, that confusion, that wildness, cherish it. It means the star is near. And yet, what does the world reward? Calmness, predictability. The man with clean shoes and a tidy room. They kneel before the priest of order, of safety, of control. But you do not kneel. Stand in the fire. Be disordered. Let your thoughts contradict. Let your soul rage. Only then will you find what cannot be taught, only revealed. Have you never felt it? That madness creeping in when the world makes too much sense? That urge to tear off your skin and scream because you know there is more? That is your chaos calling. Do not sedate it. Do not silence it with philosophy, with schedules, with small goals. Invite it. Let it dance through your mind. Let it rip through your structures. Because only then will you begin to shape what is truly yours. You are not here to maintain what was. You are here to erupt. An eruption is never quiet. Do not be ashamed of your chaos. It means you are still alive. It means you are still becoming. The world will tell you to calm down, to be realistic, to act like everyone else. They will pathologize your fire. They will drug your questions. They will shame your visions. Laugh at them. They are frightened of the storm because they have forgotten it once made them. You have not. That is your advantage. So feed the chaos. Speak to it. Shape it, not with fear, but with will. Let it tear you apart. And from the pieces, form your star. You want ease? Then you do not want life. You want comfort? Then you seek death, slow and sweet and silent. The world has sold you the lie that struggle is a problem to be solved, not a force to be embraced. But I tell you, the struggle is sacred. The climb, the wound, the darkness. They are not curses. They are the anvil upon which destiny is hammered into shape. A man who does not struggle is not alive. He is floating, soulless, spineless, forgettable. Look around you. See how they move like ghosts, afraid to disturb the stillness, afraid to fall. They want life to be smooth, like a polished floor. But nothing grows on smooth ground, only on the jagged cliffs where every step could be your last. Do you learn what it means to stand? And not merely stand, but rise. The modern man, the soft one, shields himself from pain as if pain were the enemy. But what cowardice this is! Has he never seen a blade forged? Fire, hammer, pressure. Without them, the metal remains useless. So it is with the soul. The soul, too, must burn. It must be hammered. It must be tested. Else it remains dull, ornamental, and without edge. To suffer is to be given the raw material of transformation. But not all who suffer are transformed. Only those who endure willingly. There is no virtue in pain alone. Pain only carves meaning when it is faced, not fled. The herd avoid hardship like poison. But hardship is the medicine they truly need. It is the awakening blow, the divine slap across the face of mediocrity. I do not speak of mere endurance. Endurance is passive. No, this is about confrontation. To look into the mouth of the storm and not blink. To fall into the abyss and stretch your arms out wide. When life strikes you, strike back. Not out of revenge, but creation. Let the blow sculpt you. Let the fall build wings on your back. The strong do not avoid suffering. They alchemize it. Do you know what makes a man? Not his intentions, not his comforts, but the fight he carries within. The war he wages against the parts of himself that long for sleep. That part of you that says enough, strangle it. That voice that whispers, take the easy path, laugh in its face. You were not born for safety. You were born to climb, to fall, to rise, again and again, until your bones remember what it means to ascend. This is the cost of becoming. There is no transformation without violence, not against others, but against your own weakness. Kill your laziness. Stab your fear. Burn your excuses. Let the inner struggle be your daily ritual, your private war. And in time, you will emerge, not as a man among men, but as something more, something unbreakable, something inevitable. The gods themselves, if they exist, do not favor the peaceful. They favor the warrior, the creator, the sufferer who laughs through blood. And if there are no gods, then become one. Forge yourself through hardship until the world cannot ignore your presence. You will know you're on the right path when it begins to hurt. Let that pain guide you. Let it be the proof that you are still becoming. And if they call you mad for choosing the hard road, so be it. They are too comfortable in their cages to understand the freedom that comes from struggle. But you were not meant for the cage. You were meant for the climb, the fall, the fire. You were meant for more. So suffer, not with despair, but with purpose. Suffer until the soft self dies. Suffer until a new one emerges, sharper, bolder, free. Power, that most misunderstood word. Fear by the weak, abused by the tyrant, and worship by the herd, as if it were gold struck from the sky. But I tell you, true power is not what rules over others. It is what conquers the self. It is not given, it is seized. And the one who waits for permission to be powerful will die waiting. The will to power. It is not a hunger for control, but the sacred fire to create, to shape, to overcome. Not others, yourself. Look within. Do you feel that tension, that quiet war between who you are and who you could be? That is a will to power, unspoken, primal, divine. But most bury it beneath obedience, beneath morality, beneath the weight of should and must. They neuter their instincts, castrate their desires, and call it virtue. They build prisons with their own hands and praise the comfort of the cell. But the one who awakens, the one who dares to listen to the roar beneath his skin, he is dangerous, because he no longer seeks to fit, he seeks to form. The will to power is not about domination. It is creation. It is a force that turns chaos into cosmos. The artist, the thinker, the warrior, the lover, all draw from the same fire. They do not accept reality. They mold it. They do not bow to life. They challenge it, not out of arrogance, but necessity, because to be truly is to become stronger, to ascend, not as a ruler over others, but as a ruler over one's own limitations. But what does society tell you? Suppress your will. Be humble. Serve others. And what has that created? A race of obedient shadows. Polite, proper, powerless. Men who ask before they speak, who apologize for existing. Men without edge, without fire, without any trace of danger in their eyes. These are not men. They are monuments to mediocrity. And they fear most the one who stands alone, the one who does not ask, the one who does not flinch. He who possesses the will to power does not shout. He acts quietly, relentlessly. He carves his name not on marble, but on reality itself. Where others wait for the right moment, he makes the moment. Where others ask for signs, he becomes a sign. This is not pride. It is responsibility. To shape the self as a sculptor shapes the stone, with violence, with vision, with obsession. You were not born to obey. You were not born to serve a script written by dead men. The will to power is your inheritance. If only you stop fearing it. You'll be called selfish. You'll be called mad. Good. Let them call. Let the sheep scream when the wolf refuses the pasture. Power terrifies them because it reminds them of what they abandoned. You want freedom? Then take responsibility for your fire. Not in words, but in transformation. Not in dreams, but in action. The weak think power corrupts because they've never felt it. True power purifies. It burns away the false self, the borrowed morals, the inherited fears. It demands that you become who you really are, no matter the cost. The will to power is not something you use. It is something you are, and every day you either honor it or betray it. There is no neutrality. So decide, will you walk with your fire, or let it die quietly like all the rest? Will you shape the world, or let it shape you? The choice is not made once. It is made every breath. They will tell you who to be before you even breathe. They will hand you a name, a flag, a god, a history, and call it identity. They will teach you how to walk, not with strength, but with obedience. And when you follow, when you comply, when you become the perfect reflection of their expectations, they will applaud. But do not mistake applause for truth. What they celebrate is not you, it is your surrender. There is no greater lie than the one that says, to belong is to be whole. No, to belong is to be swallowed. The herd does not love you, it devours you. It chews your uniqueness into paste, molds you into a mask, and calls you good. But the one who sees, the one who knows, must tear off that mask, even if it leaves a skin. Authentic individualism is not rebellion for the sake of noise. It is not vanity. It is necessity. To live as your own is to refuse the soft death of imitation. The great man, the true spirit, does not ask, "What should I be?" He declares, "I will become what only I can be." This is not arrogance. It is revolt against the mediocre comfort of inherited lives. It is the will to sculpt the self from stone, not clay. But this path, do not misunderstand, is brutal. To stand alone is not to stand still. It is to be hunted by the herd, ridiculed, misunderstood, feared. You will be told you are wrong. You will be told you are broken. But the truth is this: they fear the mirror you hold up, because in your refusal to conform, they see their own chains. In your solitude, they feel their dependence. And so they hate you, not for your flaws, but for your freedom. Do you want to be loved? Then kneel, smile, echo. But if you want to be free, then rise, roar, disappear from their maps. The individual does not merely step outside the lines. He burns a page. He does not ask for guidance. He listens to the tremble in his own blood. He does not seek a path. He is the path. And what is this path, if not war? War against comfort, against routine, against the gentle chains of normal. The individual must murder the borrowed self, the self that was shaped by schoolrooms, pulpits, and screen light. He must dig into his soul with bare hands and pull out what has never been seen before, not to please, not to impress, but because that is what life demands. The world offers many gods, nation, duty, tradition, community, but all of them ask for sacrifice. And the first thing they demand is you. They dress it up in beautiful language, honor, loyalty, humility. But the meaning is the same: disappear, meld into the mass. Be a dot in the diagram. Be predictable. Be manageable. And still I say, refuse. There is more danger in a man who has made himself than in 1,000 who were made by others. Why? Because he owes nothing. He is not trapped by the need to be liked. He does not kneel before the altar of social approval. His mind is not rented space. He walks like a god among insects, not because he is greater by birth, but because he dared to separate. Do not wait for the world to understand you. Do not hope they will join you. They won't. That's the point. Your path is yours alone. Carve it. Bleed on it. And if you must walk it with no applause, no audience, and no guarantee, then walk it anyway. Because to live as your own is the only life worth breathing. They crave finality, a destination, a place where they can finally say, I have arrived. They long for a fixed identity, a neatly packaged self, something stable they can carry like a nameplate to show the world. This is who I am. But I say, what you are is already dead the moment you cling to it. You are not a thing. You are a process, a current, not a rock, a flame, not a statue. And to live is to become, not once, but endlessly. The tragedy of man is not that he changes. It is that he stops changing, that he chooses comfort over confrontation with himself, that he builds a temple around yesterday's truth and prays to it long after it has turned to dust. Eternal becoming, that is life's hidden rhythm, not a straight line, but a spiral, a shedding, a devouring, a rebirth. The snake does not mourn its old skin. It leaves it behind, silent and dry, and moves on. But they will teach you to settle, to know yourself as if you are a fixed formula, as if you could ever be complete. No, the self is not a fact. It is a battlefield. And every day you must go to war with who you were, with what you were told, with what you believed even yesterday. The overman is not a conclusion. He is a process that never ends. a question that never seeks a final answer. He is a storm that refuses to freeze into a shape. What they call growth is often only inflation, more titles, more possessions, more masks. But growth in truth is destruction. It is ruthless honesty. It is breaking your own bones to walk upright again. It is looking at your reflection and asking, who are you to tell me who I am? Because you are not beholden to your past. Your past is not a prophecy. It is a corpse. Bury it, burn it, learn from it, but do not serve it. You are meant to outgrow everything, even yourself, especially yourself. Let the others rot in their roles, in their reputations, in their rituals. Let them polish their identities until they shine like tombstones. But you, be wild, be uncertain, be in motion. Let your soul change colors like the sky before storm. Let them say, he is not who he was. Let that be your glory. Let it terrify them, because this world does not fear evil men. It fears free ones. And freedom is not a place. It is becoming without end. It is tearing out the roots of who you were told to be and growing something untamed, something no one has a name for. Eternal becoming means that you are always unfinished, and that is your power. A man who is unfinished cannot be caged. He cannot be explained. He cannot be controlled. But it is hard, yes, it is painful, to let go of certainty, to be a question walking on 2 feet. The herd will laugh. They will say, he doesn't know who he is, and they will be right, and you will be free. Better the man who is in motion, becoming, bleeding, shifting, than the one who is calcified into a mask. Better the wanderer of the soul than the prisoner of identity. So become, and become again, until your very being is rebellion, until your existence is a storm of transformations. Do not fear the unknown, you are the unknown. You are not here to arrive. You are here to evolve, over and over, without end, until even death must kneel before your becoming. So now you see, life is not a destination, but a fire that consumes and renews. To live is not to be someone, but to become endlessly, to embrace the chaos within you, to struggle without apology, to wield the will to power as your sculptor's tool, to walk alone with defiance, and to shatter your own form again and again. This is a path of the one who refuses to die before death. Let others seek peace. You seek transformation. Let them decorate their cages. You burn yours to the ground. For the one who becomes never ends. He rises not once, but eternally, forging destiny with bloodied hands and an unshakable soul. And if they ask, who do you think you are? You do not answer. You simply become.